Okay guys, so back again with another super raw workout. The last one that I put up of this style a couple of weeks ago actually went down really well, which I wasn't expecting. So I'm gonna aim to put one of these kind of like raw voiceover workouts up once a week alongside the vlog and the educational style content. But yeah, just a few movements taken from my upper body strength session almost 2 weeks ago now. So just going to give a little bit of an insight into why I'm doing certain things and kind of let you guys know where I'm at in terms of my own training. So in a very high volume block of training at the moment before we go through to another strength block. That's how me and my coach cycle my training. It's usually high volume, higher volume, and then higher intensity, which involves more strength work, lower rep range stuff. The first kind of 4 minutes of this video is my like warm-up routine before my sessions. It's super important to stay on top of this stuff. Like, I've been training for over 12 years now, and the longer you train, the more kind of like potential there is to develop imbalances if you're not, staying on top of this sort of stuff. So my coach helps me with that a lot. But what you could see there was just a dead hang. That is not specific to me. I'd recommend that anyone does a dead hang, to be honest, whether it's in the gym in your training sessions or whether, it's just doing it a few times in the morning if you've got access to an apartment gym or something like that. It just really nicely decompresses the back and the spine. If you're sat down a lot at a desk, everything's going to be tight there. So really, really good. I'll usually just hang for 2 sets of like 60 seconds before all my training sessions. What you can see here is a cable row to external rotation. Again, just to open the shoulders up and warm the rotator cuffs up prior to some heavier pressing. So you can see here just from a different angle. So we're rowing and then externally rotating the shoulder. Again, with a lot of desk work, this is a movement that we put into a lot of our clients' programs. Just if you sat down a lot at a desk, your shoulders are going to roll forward and you end up having that kind of like hunched over, terrible posture. So I did 3 rounds of this warm-up and I think I did 10 reps on each arm here. The next one that you'll see is a dumbbell press. So by holding the dumbbell in that position, it forces you to, it's much harder to stabilize the weight basically. I was meant to do this with a kettlebell for 6 reps on each side, but didn't have access to a kettlebell at this part of the gym, so I just went for a dumbbell. And then the last movement of the warm-up, so we had the dead hang, we had the external rotation, we had the dumbbell press overhead that was meant to be a kettlebell press, and then a front hand elevated press up. Basically, this is just to bias one side at a time. So by elevating the top hand, we're going to get more tension in the right pec there. Again, I do have a little bit of an imbalance in my upper body, just down to essentially fucking years of training and not staying on top of this sort of stuff when I was younger. So really just trying to reduce those imbalances now. It's just a really good one to light up the pecs, to be fair. It's offset front hand elevated push-up, and then into the more interesting stuff. So today I was doing, I think it was 3 sets of 6 to 8 on the incline dumbbell press. Because it's a high volume block, what we will do is we'll actually do quite a lot of supersets and trisets even on the compound movements. So the first part of this triset was, as I say, 6 to 8 reps on the dumbbell press, and then I think I hit 32 kg for 3 sets of 8 on this, which is not as strong as I have been in the past, but I'm a lot lighter at the moment. I'm maintaining around 78 to 78.5 kg body weight, just with all the running and the strength training that I'm doing. But nonetheless, I'll look to build this up over the next few weeks and get close to hopefully pressing the 40s again. I've just not done this movement in a while. I was doing barbell for a bit of time, and I often find when you step back from a movement, you lose a little bit of strength. So hopefully I'll build that up over the next few weeks. And then the second movement of this tricep was a incline dumbbell fly, as you will see here. So I rested about 30 seconds between each exercise here, not focusing on going crazy heavy, because obviously I've just gone heavy for I think 8 reps on the dumbbell press, 30 seconds rest, and then I believe it was 10 reps here, just trying to get a really, really good stretch through the pecs. 14 kg dumbbells here, which is like, it's not light, but at the same time it's not heavy. But yeah, could really, really feel the tension in the pecs. And something that I'm trying to work on personally for the next couple of months is just really, really focus on that mind muscle connection. Like, I've trained for 12 years And I even find myself, sometimes just sacrificing form and tension at the expense of load and weight. And ultimately, if you've not got good mechanical tension on the target muscle groups, your ability to stimulate hypertrophy is always going to be reduced. So yes, obviously we want to be progressively overloading and focusing on lifting heavier weight and doing more reps over time, but not at the expense of form. And then the final movement of this tricep is a kind of like an alternating push-up. So I was pretty fried after 3 sets of this tricep, I'm not going to lie. The structure of the training was, so it's 3 sets for the first 2 weeks of the program, and then I'll be doing a 4th set in the 3rd and 4th week. And we run 4-week training blocks. It's what I do with my own training, and it's what what we do with all our clients as well. So with strength training within a hybrid training program, 4 weeks, the aim is to progressively overload as much as possible. And then with running, if the client is doing that in their program, we will generally build for 3 weeks in volume and intensity, and then we'll do a deload recovery week with the running, where essentially the client will just do easy runs, and that will allow you to build your base, build your speed if we've got speed work in the program, but it gives you, your body and your nervous system that break every 4th week so that you can kind of go again. I found myself with running, if you just build and build and build for 4, 5, 6 weeks, that's when I've started to pick up niggles and injuries personally. And as I say, we run this structure with all our clients. It works really well. We've had people PB, all sorts of distances from 5K all the way up to marathon and some ultra marathons as well. So what you can see here is the second part of the workout. Again, a big tricep. So it was seated machine row. And I'm actually doing a descending rep scheme here where we started on 10 reps and went all the way down to, I think it was a heavy set of 5. So it was 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So really high volume. And then within that, supersetting the seated row with a seated, I guess you call it like a cable face pull, I guess, yeah, for the same rep range. So 10 reps all the way down to 5. Obviously, as the reps are decreasing, I'm increasing the weight to keep the intensity there. There's nothing like superior or fancy about this rep range. It just keeps things fresh. And obviously, this is programmed by my coach, who has a little bit more of a kind of a functional fitness program background. So it's definitely not like CrossFit style. It's just like, functional bodybuilding with some different rep ranges. And then the third movement was a dual dumbbell Z press. So obviously an overhead press here, building the shoulders, but by sitting in this position, it's a really, really good way to challenge your kind of upper back and remain straight. Really, really good for posture. And then here, it's just another clip from obviously the seated row. Really, really happy with how I'm looking at the moment. Looking very lean in the upper body especially. I'm running a little bit of a cut at the moment. Very, very small deficit, just 3,000 calories for a couple of weeks. And I reckon I'll lean down quite nicely and get to where I want to be for holiday, which I'm going on in, I think it is about 6 weeks time. And then I'll just maintain that for the summer. Maintain, that kind of body weight of probably 77.5 to 78.5. And that should be really, really doable. But I will touch on that in another video, but for now, that was just a bit of an insight into my training. Obviously super raw, but hopefully it gives you a bit of an idea of what I'm currently doing.